Hello, Oracles. Well, Tesla stock falls over 6% on false rumors. The market was down overall, but Tesla significantly underperformed, and a lot of it was due to the fact that we had some false rumors that came out this morning about production over in China. We had Reuters coming out stating that Tesla was going to be cutting production by 20% in the month of December. They had said they hadn't gotten their information from Bloomberg, but there was nothing on Bloomberg to be found. I was guilty of mentioning this morning as a rumor. Now, I did say it was a rumor. However, in enough discussions over on Twitter, I realized that even putting out something as a rumor could end up making the situation even worse. I'm not very big over there on Twitter. I'm not a huge channel here on YouTube. However, that word getting out every little bit that it is going to make the situation worse. So I'm going to dive into some of the information today that we had gotten into, some of the feedback on the good side, the bad side, whether it's true, whether it's not, and some really good information from Gary Black explaining how a lot of these things work when it comes to these rumors as to why we saw the stock price move the way it did based upon these rumors. So quite honestly, it did not take Tesla long to come out and state that this was a false statement. Now, it was Tesla China that came out and said this, and it's very nice to see because sometimes Elon will come out and say something. Other times, Tesla may come out and say something one way or the other. But a lot of times, we get no response whatsoever about this. So it was very nice to see Tesla China come out in a relatively quick manner to debunk this rumor. And so it was all over Twitter afterwards saying that Tesla's Shanghai factory will take the initiative to reduce production by 20%. In this regard, Tesla China sources responded to the SSE reporter called it untrue information. And now, just to be realistic here, Troy Teslak did come out and say that on September 30th of 2022, this year, Tesla China said that the rumors about a price cut are false. See the article below. Then on October 24th, the price cut actually happened. So, based on his information, when it comes to the rumors about the production cut, we may end up seeing it. Maybe it's just not 20%. That would be the false information. He said here, I'm looking at inventory, export, production, and delivery numbers to decide what is most likely going to happen. Now, again, when I said it this morning as a rumor, I said that potentially because they have so much inventory right now, they might be cutting back a little bit on production just to thin out some of that inventory. Sounds like Troy is kind of on that same page. Again, we did get the debunked rumor from Tesla China, but based upon what Troy Teslike had said, they said this before, and then it ended up coming to fruition anyway. So we will wait and see what goes on with this. However, right now, Tesla China has said this was false information. And so now to get into the reason why the stock price moved as much as it did based upon this information, Gary Black gave a great breakdown on this. This is how new information gets disseminated on Wall Street. Each broker's trading desk packages new articles by ticker and disseminates these stories to the sales team and key clients. This same info dissemination also happens at most buy-side firms to portfolio managers, analysts, and traders. Sell-side analysts are expected to comment on news articles moving a stock on a broker's morning call, which typically occurs between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. Eastern Time. The sales teams will summarize analysts' comments and then make calls and send emails with their views to the institutional clients. While many are quick to blame Twitter analysts for circulating this news, trading desks and sales teams numbering in the thousands circulate this same info to their clients numbering in the tens of thousands. Obviously, Twitter analysts do not have distribution for their tweets. So what he's saying here is, yes, we may be spreading these rumors on Twitter and here on YouTube. And again, I was guilty of that. However, even if we send it out there as a rumor, it's not going to spread to the people who are actually going to move the market like these analysts are on Wall Street. If they're having their meetings at 7 to 8 a.m. in the morning Eastern time, this is why we see a lot of that pre-market movement going on. They get this information, it comes out. Everybody's already made their decisions as to what they're going to be doing. They've made their moves and set their orders. That information is spread. A lot of these people that are out there are not on Twitter following to see what is going on with Tesla. Some are, however, in the majority of it, they are not. So the moves are already made and determined before the market even opens. This is one of the reasons why even those of us who did go out there and say something about this early really aren't moving the needle nearly as much as we think that we are. So again, I know I'm a little guy, but even some of the bigger names that are out there aren't moving the market the way it is. It's really these Wall Street analysts. So when Reuters puts that information out there, we see that market move because of all of these Wall Street analysts. Now, we've discussed it on here before when it comes to Jim Cramer talking about how hedge funds operate. Hedge funds will go and find somebody within one of these media outlets. They will befriend them. They will say, hey, we are looking to be shorting the stock at this moment. So we're going to give you some information that we found out from a reliable source stating this information. So we want you to put out an article about this. The article that they put out could be pushed in a positive light or a negative light, depending on how the hedge fund wants to move the stock. So in this case here with Reuters, they wanted to move the stock in a negative manner. So they put out this article. Reuters puts it out there. None of this is proven. I have no facts behind this except for Jim Cramer coming out and saying, this is how hedge funds operate, because that is factually how they do. So whether this was one of those cases or not, I do not know. So I don't want to spread rumors with this, but knowing the fact that hedge funds operate in this manner, seeing as how Reuters has done this in the past as well, we see this news come out. The damage is already done and in the move. So even if Reuters comes out and says, you know what, oops, sorry, we were wrong, the market has already moved in that direction. By the time everybody catches up to it, the damage is done. So we see the market go red. What happens when all these hedge funds start to sell off? It starts to trigger a bunch of sell orders when it comes to a bunch of other retail investors or other people that are out there. So they do this in purpose because they make that domino effect happen. This is why we see that significant underperformance with over a 6% loss in the stock price. We see this domino effect. All of a sudden, it has this massive sell off. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? Maybe we see a rebound. Really depends on where these hedge funds want to move the stock price to, but they've got their target number in mind. They try to force it in that direction to hit that number because they can see where all of these sell orders are. These are the market makers. They know where the sell orders are. They push the stock price to that point. That point hits, all of those sell orders get triggered, and then all of a sudden we see that domino effect compile on top of it. If they get lucky and they do what they want, we have a lot of people who get scared with the FUD and they will come out here and they will sell off as well because they're afraid that the stock price is going to move down even more. That's typically how it works. Again, I do not know if this is how it worked in this scenario, but normally that's how this happens. And seeing as Gary Black's explanation coming out about all of these analysts having their meetings at 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern time tells me that that is where all of this domino effect started. And now Harry Chu had also mentioned in the comments about when it comes to the delivery push at the end of the quarter, that one of the biggest challenges that they are having right now is when it comes to the bodies that they need in order to make this happen. We talk about supply chain issues all the time when it comes to the different materials they need for the vehicles. One of the supplies that we don't always talk about is staffing. Staffing is very important. If you don't have the staff to make things happen, then it's not going to be able to happen. And now some other positive news that we got from Troy Tesla today is Tesla sales in Europe are looking good. The chart shows year-to-date registrations in Europe at the end of November. Europe sales are not going to be an issue in Q4, but there are concerns about China, not enough orders, and the US, buyers deferring for tax credits in January. You guys know that I am one of those myself, so I'm sure that there are plenty more out there. Now, one of the concerns that I know a lot of people have been having is, well, in order for Tesla stock to go up, they need to sell Teslas, not the stock. So I think when it comes to the concerns about, a lot of people deferring their orders, it's not about Tesla's not going to be selling their vehicles. It's just they're not going to be selling them in December. A lot of people are just pushing them off until next year, which means it will probably see a significantly stronger first quarter than we normally would because a lot of people are going to want to take their deliveries at that time. We do know that over the weekend, I had gotten a call from Tesla themselves saying that they're going to reopen up my order despite the fact that I put it on a hold a second time and they were going to cancel it. They reopened it and offered me $3,750 if I take delivery now. I am still not ready for it. I'm going to pass that off. But I have spoken to several other people who said that, you know what, that was enough for them to make that decision to take the delivery now. Now, I ordered mine much earlier in the year, so my price was relatively low. So dollar wise, if I took the $3,750, it actually would be better than the $7,500 credit. However, it is just a credit and not an actual rebate coming off of the price at the time of purchase. And I still do not have a house to be able to charge the vehicle at. It's just not wise for me to take it right now. But for somebody who does have a house to charge at, or if their situation is different than mine, if they ordered it earlier in the year, that $3,750 will be better than the tax credit. So I think this is a great move on Tesla's part. We may see more vehicles going out in Q4 in December for the US market than we originally thought. And in other good news today, Tesla begins Model Y deliveries in Taiwan. Tesla has started deliveries of the Model Y in Taiwan, marking the first time the automaker has delivered cars made at Giga Berlin outside of Europe. So we obviously know the tensions between China and Taiwan at the moment. So to have Berlin be able to deliver these vehicles over to Taiwan is awesome to see. So it's great to see all of this going on with all these vehicles getting delivered to Taiwan, taking their first orders. And if you guys remember the live stream that we had with Nick Gibbs on here, we were discussing FSD and when it comes to all the data that they are bringing in, and it's the company that has the most data that is going to win when it comes to FSD. Nick had corrected it in saying, it's not so much the data, it's the engine. It's what you do with that information. It's like having a library at your disposal, but if you don't know how to read, all of those books won't make a difference. And so Nick had shared this out with me today based upon what Andre Karpathy had said. And Andre said, potentially nitpicky, but competitive advantage in AI goes not so much to those with data, but those with a data engine. Iterated data acquisition, retraining, evaluation, deployment, telemetry, and whoever can spin it fastest. And we'll take a look at this slide right here from Tesla. This is how their system works. This is how their engine operates. They keep on running through this, and it just keeps getting faster and faster. So for Tesla, they have the engine that can handle this data. This is why they are winning this race. They not only have the data coming in, but they also have the engine that can handle that data. And so again, overall, not the prettiest day, down 6.37%. We are looking at maybe this dead cat bounce actually coming to fruition. Again, we'll see how the week plays on. We had volume coming in at about 93 million shares trading hands, a little bit higher than normal, and the RSI is down to 41. So still above that oversold range. Just paying attention, this is kind of how it's worked. We've kind of, taking a look at the charts here, we've gone up to the mid 40s, then we come down to oversold, come back up to the almost 40s, and then come back to oversold. And this is what has looked like the dead cat bounce in the RSI. So do we see this happening again? We'll just have to wait and see. So again, overall, I do apologize for putting out that rumor this morning. And I know I kind of put some of that back out here again today and didn't really clarify because of what Troy Teslake had said as well, based upon what Tesla China had done back in September. But I've got to give you guys all the facts as to what went on. So I'm not trying to spread FUD at all. Just want to make sure you guys have all the facts that you need to be able to make your own investing decisions and do your own due diligence outside of here. There's plenty of other sources you can get your information from as well. And I appreciate all of you watching the channel here to get some of your information, but I always recommend finding other sources also, as I may not be getting all of the correct information either. And if I do get it wrong, I always like to make sure I correct it on here. So hopefully I was able to answer some of your questions today as to why we had moved as much as we did. Hopefully Gary Black's explanation explained to you guys how the market works when it comes to Wall Street and analysts when we get information like this, and why it moves so quick and why it's so hard to turn it around as quickly as we would hope it would. Let me know in the comments below, did you guys pick up any shares today on all of this rumor news that brought the stock price down? I personally did not add any extra today just because I've already bought quite a bit at this 180 level. So I'm waiting for us to dip a little bit further before I add extra. I still did add my normal for today though. So you guys can let me know in the comments below if you guys added any. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all of the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. We do have a Discord chat. That link is down in the description. And if you'd like to support the channel any further, we do have a Patreon and a membership program. Those links are also in the description. Thank you so much. Have a great one.